All right, let's talk about one of the most iconic and, frankly, one of the most unsettling stories ever written, Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis.
And boom, that's how it starts. No explanation, no warning, just this sudden, completely absurd new reality. It's a heck of an opening, and it sets the stage for what is really a profound human drama.
So, to really get a handle on this story's power, we're going to follow the tragic journey of Gregor and his family. We'll watch how they react, step by step, to this totally unthinkable event.
So let's start right at the beginning, with Gregor's awakening. What's so wild is how he reacts to this, well, impossible situation.
Think about this for a second. His reality is that he has an armor-like back and these pitifully thin legs. But what's he worried about? Not being a giant bug. He's worried that his train leaves at 5, that his boss is going to be mad, and about his parents' debt. He's not horrified by his body. He's stressed about being late for work.
And that right there tells you everything you need to know. His whole identity, his sense of self, is completely wrapped up in his job. His humanity at this point isn't defined by his physical shape, but by these very, very human anxieties and his powerful sense of duty.
Okay, so let's get to the moment of truth, the big reveal. This is where we see the family's initial concern just curdle into something much, much darker.
You can just feel the tension ratcheting up outside his locked bedroom door, can't you? It starts with his mother's gentle knock, then his father's angry banging, his sister's worried cries, and then his boss shows up. The pressure is on.
When Gregor finally tries to explain, to reassure them, his voice is just this: squeak. And that's the first judgment passed on him. The chief clerk hears it and says, that was the voice of an animal. Right there, he's no longer heard as human.
The second he manages to open the door and they see him, their reaction isn't empathy, it's not compassion, it's pure shock and horror. And it all culminates in this awful moment where his own father grabs a stick and violently shoves him back into his room. So now he's sealed in his room, and this is where Gregor's new existence really begins. An existence defined by alienation and watching his family's care just slowly fall apart.
You can literally track his dehumanization over time. At first, his sister Gret brings him his favorite drink, a personal, loving gesture. But pretty soon, that devolves into just leaving him rotting scraps. After a month, she can't even look at him. And by 2 months, his room is nothing more than a junk closet.
But here's the thing. While his family just sees a monster, Gregor is, he's just adapting. He's finding a new way to live in this tiny space he's been trapped in, even finding a little bit of comfort in it.
Now, as the family's money problems get worse, their patience just wears thinner and thinner. And it all leads to this one pivotal act of violence. This moment is absolutely crucial. His father, in a fit of pure rage, starts throwing apples at him, and one of them gets lodged in his back. It's not just an injury. It's a festering wound, a permanent, rotting symbol of his father's complete and total rejection.
So, to make ends meet, they actually rent out rooms in their apartment. This means Gregor is no longer just a burden. He's a shameful secret that could ruin them financially. He's basically just an inconvenient piece of clutter they have to hide.
And this all brings us to the story's emotional climax, where the very last flicker of Gregor's humanity gets snuffed out by the person who was once closest to him. One evening, his sister is playing the violin for the lodgers, and Gregor, hearing this beautiful music, is just drawn out of his room. He isn't being a monster here. He's being moved by art. It's maybe the most human impulse he has left.
And then she says it. His sister Gret, the one who cared for him, she delivers the final verdict. She tells her parents they have to get rid of it. She says, I don't want to call this monster my brother. And that's it. The sentence has been passed. There's a reason we have the word Kafkaesque. Gregor's entire ordeal is the perfect definition. He's been condemned by his own family for reasons he can't possibly understand, and his humanity has been completely and utterly denied. So after Gret's decree, Gregor understands. He gets it. He knows he has to disappear, and that leads us to the story's chilling conclusion.
I mean, just look at this contrast. It is absolutely brutal. When he transformed, their reaction was horror, disgust, and shame. But when he dies, his father literally says, let's give thanks to God for that. For them, his life was a tragedy, but his death is a sweet relief. There's no grief. The same day the cleaning lady gets rid of his body, the family takes a trip to the country. They start talking about their bright financial future and getting a new apartment. A future that is only possible now that Gregor is gone. And that's really the question I want to leave you with. Was Gregor turning into a bug the real tragedy here, or did it just pull back the curtain on a tragedy that was there all along? Was their love for him always conditional, based only on his ability to work and provide for them?